Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the P-LotPodcast. John here, joined once again by the main man himself, Michael Angelillo. Michael, my dude, how's it going?
We're doing all right.
It's
It's a
Cowboys week.
little Cowboys week. It's a little gloomy outside. That's a little depressing, I guess you could put it. But I mean, we got a nice slate of games throughout the course of this week, all leading up to what should be a pretty good NFL Sunday tomorrow. So you can't complain too much in the realm of the sports world at the moment.
Lot going on. This week's college slate is a little underwhelming. Uh, Friend of the show, Corey Frost, is actually in South Bend, Indiana, because he is a Notre Dame fan. They're taking on, well,
Syracuse Orange.
your sister, my cousin's alma mater, the Syracuse Orange.
It's
They
not
are,
good when they aren't offering money line odds on that game.
yeah, 38.5 point favorites is Notre Dame. I'm not sure they can cover that just because when you watch like Notre Dame play, for some reason, they're insistent on throwing the ball until it doesn't really work. And then Jeremiah Love rips off like a 90-yard touchdown.
Right.
It's pretty much how their season has been going on offense. But yeah, we also got NBAs in full swing. Sixers had a nice win against the Milwaukee Bucks. Uh,
That was encouraging to see.
Unfortunately, Joel is out dealing with some knee soreness in his non-surgically repaired knee. But Paul George is back. I was concerned, like, would he ruin the vibes of the young players? Luckily, that has not happened. Hopefully, it won't ever happen. But yeah, and then we got the Eagles. Will play the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow in Dallas. You know, quarterback wins aren't a stat unless you're Dak Prescott. Apparently,
Yeah, it's just I re I really have to do my best to just kind of stay away from any sort of like dumb football discourse like that, where you get the Cowboy fans that are wins don't matter, wins aren't a quarterback stat, but then they love tweeting about how Dak Prescott beats the NFC East at home all the time. And listen, the Cowboys do win a lot when he plays against the NFC East, especially at home. But it's like they want they want to have it both ways, and you can never have it both ways. But that's pretty much everyone on
did
Twitter
you
wanting
see
it to have
that
it both
tweet of
ways.
that school where they're punching like inflatable like
Cowboy, yeah, I did see that. That
I thought
was
that was kind of
absurd.
cheesy. And then someone tweeted, a Cowboys fan page tweeted that 60% of those kids are going to be homeless. And I'm like, bro, how much of an inferiority complex do you need to
Yeah,
have where you're attacking kids?
yeah, no, for sure. Listen, the animosity, it's good for it. The players don't really do it anymore, but the fans still have it. So that's
Like,
all. That's all
like
fun.
if the
But
roles were reversed and the Eagles were that bad, then we would probably be like, I wish I was those kids.
something like that, yeah. But
And then
but
we got
before we get into football today, we do want to do some slight Flyers chatter.
you
They're
wanted to bring this.
winning
You wanted to
they're
bring.
winning games. They're winning games, and that's cool. It's fun. The process at which they are playing these games, I don't think is ideal. I think we're finally now starting to get national attention to what like actual Flyers fans have been feeling over the last like 5 years plus at this point, where they're loving to toe that middle ground or at least pretend they do, whatever. Rick Tockett's still like Nikita Grabenkin hasn't played in like a little while at this point, and this is coming after he said, "Yeah, we really got to find a way to get him more minutes." And it's like, you're the coach, man. You pick who plays every day, so that's on you, and you're not playing him. Emil Andre finally seems like he's getting into the lineup consistently, which is a good thing, but ultimately the Flyers are kind of just a directionless machine. For every like one or two steps they take forward, whether it's like Matvey Michkov falling in their lap or going out and trading for a Trevor Zegras, they take some questionable to dumb moves or moves that have been done prior. Like and the Owen Tippett extension, the Travis Konechny extension, those
Well,
sort
I
of
will
moves.
say the Travis Konechny extension is, I think that's very overblown. The Owen Tippett extension, oh my God, yes, 100% agree. Pretty
I mean,
bad.
Tippett's just not a great player. Konechny is good, but I, you know, committing to a guy long term that if you ever do find a way to start being super competitive is nothing more than a second liner. I just think that's hurtful, for what you're trying to achieve, and when you're trying to get this high end talent and you're stuck with these like good, not great players, it hurts you. I mean, you go look at the points leaders and you see at the top of the list, you have, your McDavid's still there, Nathan McKinnon's still there, these guys, number one picks, whatever. And then you start seeing the young guys are creeping in. Connor Bedard's up there, Macklin
You know,
Celebrini's up there.
yeah, I'm gonna be 100% honest though with like, listen, Owen Tippett, that was just a really stupid idea. Like, I am not going to. I will not argue that that was an absolute mistake because it most certainly was a mistake, Michael.
Well, it's
When
because they traded Giroux for him, and, like, the Flyers feel like a state-controlled media, the way they talk about certain guys, like, you'll get, Phillies guys to criticize players, and Eagles guys will definitely criticize players or whatever. Sixers guys obviously do a ton, but, like, all the Flyers guys, Flyers media members, it's like they talk about Owen Tippett like he's got the talent level and skill of, like, Nathan McKinnon, but he just hasn't put it all together yet, and it's like, he's nothing even remotely close to the same. Jim Jackson does it, "Oh, the turbocharged time for Tippett," and it's like, I don't care how fast he can skate, like, once a week. It doesn't matter when he's ripping it off the plexiglass or he's putting himself off sides or he can't catch a pass or the play dies with him. I think the organization felt a lot of pressure when they traded Giroux about a year too late, but they did eventually move him. Where the best player you could get for an expiring star like that was Owen Tippett, and they felt a lot of pressure to be like, okay, this is the return for Giroux. We can't screw this up. So they extended him pretty prematurely. Like, all right, well, he's definitely going to be good because we got him for Giroux,
well, it wasn't
and he's
really
not.
well. That was the old regime, I suppose. But keep going.
It's the same. It's this, yeah, but the old regime and the new regime are like still pretty similar. I'll be completely honest with you, where it's like whether it's Keith Jones or whether it's Danny's fault, because again, they're still making some of the same pointless, dumb mistakes. And it's like, I think if you really were going to get a vibe shift in this organization, they would have traded Travis Konechny. And I know they all love Konechny and like he's, lives and breathes and is this city's representation in a hockey player, all that sort of stuff. But we got to be honest about what he is. And it's like you're committing to a guy long term without having genuine answers as who's your top flight player is going to be when you need like 2 to 3 more of them if you wanna actually be a serious team, and paying a guy like that and keeping him for a long time, he's gonna do a lot to keep you out of the basement. They were only in the basement last year because of historically bad goaltending, and, like,
Well,
more likely than not, you're not going to have that bad of goaltending anymore, and
the
it's gonna be hard
goaltending
to
was
be in the
also that
basement.
bad, Michael, because the defense was also horrible as well.
Yeah, sure, and, like, the defense has gotten a lot better, and the goaltending situation has definitely gotten
Well,
better
it's
this
just
year.
Harrison's still bad. It's just that Dan Vladar is much better than
Yeah,
Harrison, or
even my point, this is all, like, serving my point that I think we're in, like, a lost season for the Flyers at this point because they're probably not gonna make the playoffs, and they're probably not gonna be picking in, like, the top 5. So that puts you in that, you know, purgatory state, which is what we felt the Flyers were in when they were first round exits for, like, a 10-year stretch of time. But now they might be an even worse purgatory where you don't make the playoffs, but you're also missing out on the top blue chip
well,
draft talent.
yeah, but I do also feel, well, all right. Um,
I mean, Frank Saravelli said it the best, we're finally getting the national guys to go talk about it.
yeah, let me just
That's NHL's version of like, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Jeff Passan, like his view on the Flyers is what fans have kind of been feeling and being upset about recently. So
here. Well, I'll just cue this up.
Out, but they're not in a race to the bottom for Gavin McKenna. So where do they find that center?
I think you just hit on the fundamental flaw of where they're at right now, which is a team that's not capable of getting to the bottom, that has not necessarily orchestrated this order correctly, in my opinion and view, which should be your only job this year, instead of trying to be competitive, should be to gain one of those 5 to 6 franchise-changing players that exist in the 2026 NHL draft. Period, full stop, end of story. Anything more than that is a fail. That's how I view it. It's black and white, but to me it's really simple, because if you're not, it's not even just make the playoffs. If you're not in the inner circle of cup contenders, what are you doing? What's the point? For what? Let's go little Ricky Waters. For who? For what? I mean, that's how I look at it. It's in this one particular year, they got a little ahead of their skis in terms of trying to inch this forward in a year where you didn't need to. It's an unforced error.
So you think that those patchwork players that they brought in, those Band-Aid players, they would have bin better off just having those guys get filled in with some of the younger guys that were within the organization to...
No, I think you could have unpacked it in a different way. It's not those guys. They're not helping you, hurting you. They're neutral. They're irrelevant. I mean, no offense to them. I'm not carving them. I'm saying the way you think about building your team, you should have maybe pried off a piece or two already. Maybe you should have traded a Konechny when you could have and gotten value. Maybe you should have moved, pick another guy, Tippett or Sanheim or whoever. Whoever it might be.
Could they still do that, though?
They could, but I don't think that's how they think about it.
Yeah, but
It's true. I don't think that's how they're thinking about it. I don't think they viewed trading Konechny as a legitimate possibility, 3 years ago or so, when it was like, all right, he's got 2 years left on his deal, and we're obviously floundering as a franchise, as an organization. That could have been like a huge franchise altering move that ultimately I think would have been paid off for the better. People would have been upset, sure, but it's one of those band-aids that you kind of had to rip off if you wanted to be serious, like not to be total Sixers comp or whatever, and they need to trust the process, but it's kind of what it was. Like Travis Konechny there, it's like Iguodala and like Drew Holiday, and it's okay, they make the playoffs once every handful of years, and maybe they get lucky and Derrick Rose blows his knee out and they win a round and you're battling the Celtics in the second round. What are the Flyers going to do if they make the playoffs this year and they got to go play, the top Eastern Conference teams? If they got to go play like Carolina or Boston's winning again, which is crazy. But if they got to go play the Devils or so, they're just any good team that's in the Eastern Conference, where the Flyers, there's no basement teams in the East right now. Everyone is within like 2 points of each other. Obviously, it's still early, only 20 games into the season, roughly. But if they do make the playoffs, which I don't think they are, but if they do, they're not going to win a round. Maybe they'll win a game in the first round, and then you're really screwed.
Well, I don't think that. Well, I mean, okay, you're kind of just. You're kind of just repeating the same thing about this. So,
Yeah.
So I will say this about the Flyers: like, I think we've clearly seen with the NHL draft lottery that it is most certainly rigged. That's my tinfoil. That's my biggest tinfoil hat conspiracy in sports. It is rigged. You seriously mean to tell me, Michael, the team with the worst odds to win the first overall pick gets the All-Star game ripped from it? That is the New York Islanders. And then 4 hours later, they win the lottery? Michael, what's the point of tanking when the commissioner can screw the order up or put in an order in any way it wants? I agree with you on the
I hear you, but
let's say the Flyers finish with the 5th worst record in hockey. You got to be bad to finish with the 5th worst record in hockey with the amount of teams that are bombing in the NHL. And then what? You know what? Like Frank Ciarelli just said, it's a failure if they don't get 5 or 6 of these players in this draft. Michael, I've been watching the Flyers for like 30 years. God, that makes me sound really old. Since I was a little kid. The NHL does not want the Flyers to ever get in a position to take like the top player in the draft.
I mean,
It's a
I
fact.
think about
It is a fact.
I think about Nolan Patrick, where they jumped from 13 to 2.
Yeah,
Where
they
that was
tried to
very
give him a
fortunate.
break, and they still screwed it up.
But like
So
Macklin Celebrini, you think the league was dying to send him to San Jose to the
yeah,
Sharks?
they make them because they want to give these teams a player because no one shows up to their games. It's like, oh, we're going to give them a player, and then maybe it'll help them out. I mean, if you want to if you really, Michael, if you really want to like get really in deep to this, you know when the Flyers would start tanking? If people stop showing up to games.
I
If
mean,
they
the
had five,
stadium's like fairly empty. Like I know people still go generally, but we had some big games early in the season that people just straight up were not going to. Like, um, let's see. Let's look up some attendance numbers. I mean, that's for this year. The Flyers are third from the bottom in attendance this season in terms of average attendance by percentage of full capacity. They're third from the bottom. They're only filling the stadium at a higher percentage than the Buffalo Sabres and ding 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 the San Jose Sharks. I don't know, man. It's an embarrassment at this point. Like the Flyers name and the Flyers crest used to be such a prideful thing at this point, and you saw like the end tail of that as you grew up, and I saw like the very, very end tail of that when I was a kid. But really, for most of my life, the Flyers have been nothing but kind of a circus act, and it's frustrating, because our
how much
parents and
how much
whatever
of
have
those
grown up
hedge
watching a
funds
great
are
team.
buying those tickets to send people like business people to that they
Exactly. So it's even less then. So I'm not saying I want the Flyers to lose games. Every time I'm watching them, I'm enjoying them winning games, and it's fun, and they got some nice players or whatever. But it's like to be realistic of what the ceiling like when we watch them play against the Dallas Stars, and it's like, holy shit, they are not even in the same stratosphere. They don't even look like they're playing the same sport. We look like we're watching a minor league team versus, a national hockey league team. Like that's what it felt like I was watching. Because in hockey especially, the difference in quality of player is like super palpable. It's a lot. You see it honestly more so than I think any other sport because it's a constant movement, high speed, high intensity sport that, you know, in basketball, both teams get a possession. You make a shot, you keep making your shots. The other team at least has the ball. In baseball, obviously, every team's got a guy that can throw well. Every team's got a guy that can hit pretty well. Football, both teams get the ball, whatever. Anything can happen any given Sunday. But in hockey, yes, anything can happen. But when you're watching more often than not a really bad team versus a really good team, the really good teams just tend to dominate in a way that is not felt in other sports because they just constantly have the puck. They're constantly getting more shots on net. They're constantly creating more chances. And you blink and it's 3-0. And that's what it felt like watching them against the Stars. And it's what it feels like watching them against good teams more often than it doesn't.
I would say I don't know, like when you look at the Flyers like pipeline though, like do you
Mhm.
feel like so like I don't know, like the comp I think the comp here is when you look at let's say the Sixers. I think
Mhm.
hockey rebuilds and basketball rebuilds are somewhat similar in terms of like there's a lottery you
I mean,
have to
the
contend with.
need of getting true high-end talent,
Correct.
yes.
Out to the need of getting I agree. Right. I would say this. If the Flyers traded Konechny, what would they have gotten back realistically?
I mean, if they traded him
Like we always say,
I mean,
oh,
we
we
got a
should have just
first-round
traded
pick for
this guy.
Scott Lawton, man. Like, if they can get a first-round pick for an expiring Scott Lawton, I'm damn sure that you could have gotten a pretty nice haul for Travis Konechny. Like, when did he sign the extension? Uh, he signed it the extension is kicking in now. This is the first year the extension's kicking in.
And the salary cap's about to take a massive jump next year.
Last July, the Flyers signed the extension to him. So if you traded him before that, if you traded him a year prior to that, yeah, I'm sure you could have gotten a pretty massive king's ransom. If you can swindle at the deadline, getting a first round pick in Grebenkin for Scott Lawton or getting a first round pick for Sean Walker. Yeah, I think you in the offseason you could have traded an actually damn good player to a good team and gotten a really nice haul back. Like it would have been helpful. It really would have. It would have made your team worse. It would have made people upset because he's, a face of the franchise and all that sort of stuff. But like we got to be honest when your faces of the franchise just aren't that good. It just is what it
Let me
is.
ask you this. Let me throw this at you. So when the Sixers really started the process when they traded Drew Holiday to
Yeah.
get to get Nerlens Noel and the draft pick they used to draft Dario Saric.
Yeah.
Nerlens Noel wasn't good. Dario Saric was a solid role player who they then traded as a throw-in to get Jimmy Butler for half a
I mean,
season.
I don't know if he was like a throw-in, but I hear you. Well, it was more than half. Jimmy. I always said it was a half too. Jimmy played like almost 70 games here. That was an early season trade. Like you got him for, I would say like 75% of the year, and then obviously the playoffs. And you know how I feel about Butler. It's again, it's in that particular instance.
Listen, like my thing with trading Travis Konechny is this: the idea that because you had to go pay him, I don't think they would have gotten more prospects. And right now, Michael, the Flyers have a log jam with at like wing on their current team, and then when you look at their farm system, they also have a log jam. Like now, the big question is the whole point of people talking about trading Owen Tippett is Porter Martone needs to be on this team next year, and he's not going to play in the fourth line. Now I know exactly what you're going to say is, oh well, if you got rid of Travis Konechny, there's the spot for him there. Well,
Owen Tippett. Listen,
like
the return in these trades,
you should have decided between Tippett and Konechny which one of those two guys you would keep, and then that's the one you extend, and then you trade the other one away. Because at the same time, though, too, Michael, like let's say the Flyers had that clear cap space, right? They might have signed a bad player for all we know. Like that's the problem with us with hindsight being 2020. Now, to Frank Saravelli's
yeah, but I can't operate like I'm scared that they're gonna fuck it up again and like do something stupid. Like when the Sixers trade, even though it's apples to oranges, it's like it's not the fact that they traded Drew Holiday and well, all they got was Nerlens and Dario. That's not really all that great. It made your team a lot worse. It really opened up the door for tanking and eventually led you to Joel Embiid and the handful of great years that Ben Simmons provided us, all that sort of stuff. It's trading Travis Konechny. Yes, it's the return you get back, which was going to be pretty good. You see what some of these guys are getting moved for, like Martin Necas or whatever. But it opens up the door to you being bad again and allowing you to be in contention for some of these great draft picks. Would they have gotten Bedard? Maybe not. Maybe, whatever. They ended up getting Michkov. It's great. But
no,
it's like
they were going to put Bedard in Chicago because their dynasty ended. That was the most obvious move of all time. Like Michael, we're joking around here. Like Michael, Gavin McKenna is on Penn State. Pretty much, if you polled hockey fans, without even knowing the standings, which team would Gavin McKenna go to? They probably would say Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh, who's off to an unusually very good start, despite being bad the last couple years, they'll probably fall out. If they barely miss the playoffs, Michael, they're going to rig the draft to give McKenna to the Penguins to replace Crosby.
Sure, and I understand that, but like if we just operate and if the team is operating under the guise of well, it's rigged anyway, so who gives a damn? Then what are we even watching for? Why do we even care? Maybe there was the trade Konechny the year prior, and they could have been in contention for Celebrini.
They
could have given him to Chicago.
They signed Christian Dvorak with the sole purpose.
Or they could have got Demidov if they had a higher pick too. Imagine if we had Demidov and Michkov. My God. Where the hell would we be at now? I get it. It's just they are seemingly they just feel directionless at this point. They feel like they're coasting in the middle of, like, being contending, but they're still saying they're like, how many years have we been 2 years away is what they keep, like, perpetuating to us. Feels like they've been 2 years away since the bubble.
I mean, the pressure is going to be on in the off season. Like,
All
you
the
know,
players are gone. Like, the other clip of that Frank Saravelli that is in a different video is him talking about how the way to acquire top-end centers is through the draft and free agency, and he goes, "Well, free agency's cooked. All those guys already got moved, and they already got extended, so you're not gonna be able to get a top-flight center out of them, so it turns to the draft, and if you're not in a position to draft one, well, then you're not in a position to draft one." So then it becomes a trade thing, and they don't seem very keen on trading. You can still trade these guys if you want, just because you gave them a big contract, you can still move them if you really wanna go in that direction, but I don't doesn't feel like they're gonna
I
do
mean, it
that.
does really feel like, I mean, poor Martone is lighting it up at
Yeah, he
Michigan
looks
State,
awesome. Yeah.
and like I mean, listen, if we want to really get deep in Flyers discussion, like if Michkov was getting first line minutes and if he was playing better, like let me pull up his stats. I mean, listen, we know that he got in that car accident in Dubai. He wasn't in shape. We hope that's the reason he wasn't in shape, not like he was just screwing around. Like from what I've heard, he's a rink rat. He's obsessed with hockey, obsessed with improving his game. He clearly got hurt in this past offseason and wasn't able to train like he normally does. Like if he was playing first line minutes, which he needs to be, like if he's still playing third line minutes by like the end of the season and they have like the 10th worst record in the sport, then it really is truly directionless because the future of the Flyers really does hinge upon Porter Martone, and Matvei Michkov. That's like your Leclerc. That's like your Leclerc and Lindros kind of like duo, right? And then you fill in the margins in between, I suppose, whether it's via free agency or like the draft. Maybe some of these young guys. You have the Flyers have this logjam of prospects. They should be in a position to acquire some players. I mean, let's just throw Zegras in there too. Zegras,
Yeah, they gotta
Michkov.
extend him, that's a guy. But it's like, you look at the free agents that are available, all the centers are gone now, so the top flight total free agents for this upcoming season is Artemi Panarin, 35 years old, but he's a winger, it's not what they want. Not Carey Price hasn't retired yet, unbelievable. Ovechkin, yeah, I'm sure he's gonna leave. Cale Makar, interesting. I doubt he's gonna be walking anytime soon. Patrick Laine, he's not going anywhere. Not necessarily, but it's like, again, another winger though. The best center available, the highest paid center that's gonna be a free agent, which obviously doesn't equal being the best, but the highest paid one currently is Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes, 34 years old. Anders Lee, 36 years old. Anze
Yeah,
Kopitar,
you know what?
39 years
You know what?
old.
I'll be down for the
Evgeny
Flyers.
Malkin, 40 years old.
You know what? Just make Cale Makar like the highest paid, like not like
Flyer ever.
just make him the highest paid Flyer ever because you can do it. Just do it because like no one everyone complains about the center situation, bro. If I gotta watch Juleson or like who's the other guy we have that sucks? Like he's just so bad. Ginning.
Ginning. Yeah, no, listen,
Ginning
I get it, but I mean, I think they have
almost
enough in
injures
the.
Zegras in practice. Like, get him the hell out. Like, come on, man.
I mean, they just need a
That's
center.
so
Like, if they want to
unserious.
actually win, they need a center. You can figure out the other stuff, but they don't have a top flight center at the moment, or maybe Zegras is, and they just don't use him as such because defense or something. I don't know. It was also bad coaching hire. It's a lot of bad decisions piling on each other that makes the good ones hard to appreciate at times with the Flyers, and that's where I'm at with them.
Okay.
Frustrating.
Yeah. It's bad when friend of the show, Zach, he just got the new NHL and he's like, I'm literally just unloading TK, I'm unloading Coots, I'm unloading everyone.
You're redoing it. That's what you. That's what
everyone over 26 is off this team, is off my team.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about let's shift to football mode. So
Thursday night, man.
So, you know, I'm very proud of myself, Michael. I'm very good at picking these Thursday games. We said on the show on Wednesday, I said I like the Texans. I told our friend of the show, Mac, the Texans, and he was like, "Oh yeah, dude." He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I'm glad you said that because I like the Texans as well." Um, I said on the
I'm
show,
mad. I'm mad. I didn't. I'm mad. I didn't. I'll be honest that I didn't just like lean into it.
I took them on the money. I took them on the spread. I didn't take them on the money line, but I agree with you. We should have just.
I'm mad. Because I really I felt it in my bones. I really believed, and I just didn't pull the trigger on just them straight money line. It would have been a very free wager, I fear.
All right. So when we talk, so let's talk. Let's break down this past game and then kind of give our takes on it. Okay, I'm going to talk about the Texans. Their defense. They give me like 2000s like Ravens vibes of they just hammer like every time I watch their defense, they are just hammering opponents. Like they
Yeah, it's special. They are the great balance of their top 3 in turnovers created and their top 3 in sacks. You know, you look at Denver's defense, they lead the league in sacks by a pretty decent margin, but they don't have many turnovers created. And listen, it's fine. It's not like an indictment on them, but they're very sack dependent. And then you look at oh, what other defense was it? Damn it, I forget. It was another great defense that's currently in there. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was mm, I don't remember. It was another great defense in the NFL that's not getting a ton of sacks, but they're getting a lot of turnovers. Maybe it was Indianapolis, perhaps. And, you know, those defenses are great, but the Texans are that great blend where they're getting a ton of sacks and they're also getting a lot of turnovers. And that is something that can play any given Sunday in any given playoff game. There is a pretty interesting metric on Pro Football Reference that I've recently has come across my face via social media, and it is called the simple rating system, where it quantifies a number based on point differential and the strength of schedule. Obviously, blowing teams out is a lot better than winning close games, but your strength of schedule in that regard matters. If you're blowing out good teams, double great. Look at you. You're awesome. If you're
yeah.
blowing out bad teams and
Case in point, the Detroit Lions are a very good example.
yeah, if you're blowing out good team or bad teams and then you're winning one possession games, close games against good teams, it's fine. Or if you're losing those, fine.
Every game against a good team.
I mean, the Houston Texans are literally that, is my point, I guess. You look at the simple rating system metric, it actually has the Texans second in the AFC and fourth overall in the NFL because they've blown out a lot of bad teams this year, and all 5 of their losses have been one-score games.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Two good teams, two playoff teams.
My justification for the Texans was that they always play close games.
They lost to the Rams 14-9. They lost to Tampa 20-19. They lost to the Jags 17-10. And then they blew out Tennessee 26-0. They blew out Baltimore 44-10, granted without Lamar. They lost to Seattle by 8, 27-19. They beat San Francisco, and they lost to the Broncos by a field goal. Came back and beat the Jags, beating the Titans, and now they've beaten the Buffalo Bills. So when they're losing to a good team, a team that is probably going to make the playoffs or be on the fringe of making the playoffs, and they're only losing by a possession. Granted, when you look at the Texans on a macro scale, you're like, well, the offensive line still isn't good, and the offense still kind of struggles, whether it's Stroud or Davis Mills. Obviously, Stroud's better, but, it's still not anything special on the offensive end. However, the defensive side of the ball, it is truly a legendary unit. It is dominant. It is ferocious. You never see Josh Allen get sacked that much, and it makes you think that in a playoff game,
I think maybe before the game, Josh Allen was the fourth most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Let me just double check that.
His sack rate has gone up tremendously this season more than on any other years, but I don't know if he's been sacked that many times in one game. It truly felt like every other drop back he was fending off a defender, and usually what you see out of him is he is able to break the sack or move off from it or whatever, and he was just going down.
So Josh Allen this year has been sacked 28 times. Last year he was only sacked 14 times. The year before that
Wow.
he was sacked 24 times. Before that 33 times. So
I mean, he's on pace to break that with flying colors. Like it is, he is.
and just as a point of reference, he's only missed one game in his career. That was back in
When he had the
2022.
elbow issue, right? Yeah, yeah. So
So
the
yeah,
Texans' defense is legit, man. Would they have 8 sacks? They had 2 interceptions. It was just dominant. I
well,
mean, that's a
Khalil
defense
Shakir
that
had a
can.
fumble,
Yeah,
a
they also had a fumble
big
recovery.
fumble
Exactly, dude. That's
that
the type of
basically
defense.
determined the game. Like the missed extra point and the turnover in their own end, where the Texans got a field goal, that determined the game. Because here's the thing with the Texans, like so right now the Texans now own the tiebreaker over the Bills. The Bills may miss the playoffs as like a 9-10 win team, right? Because let's be honest, once CJ Stroud comes back for the Texans, their offense is going to be better. No shade on Davis Mills, but come on, man, CJ
But I mean,
Stroud's much
full
more.
shade.
I
Like
mean,
yeah, it's full shade. The Texans' schedule, though, it does not get any easier over the next 2 weeks. 2 road games at Indianapolis and then at Kansas City. Like it is, those are 2 very, very tough tests against teams, in the playoff hunt, contending for a top seed, whatever. So they'll really, if they can flex their muscles again for 2 more weeks in a row, I'll be convinced that no matter how bad the offensive line is or whatever, this is a team that can knock off anybody in the playoffs, especially in a year where, I mean, they just put Josh Allen in hell for 4 hours. So, especially in a year where we're looking at other top AFC contenders, and our biggest question mark with all of them is
I
besides New
actually
England, is the quarterback play. Like, you don't think the Texans defense can have Bo Nix or Daniel Jones in living hell in a playoff game? Like, absolutely they can.
I agree.
It's not dealing with Mahomes or Lamar or Allen or whoever. And even then, they just may have shown that they can handle some great quarterbacks in a big spot like that.
Yeah, I would say this. It to me, I think we were talking about it too. Let's switch over to the Bills. James Cook had a really good game, all things considered. How the Texans were putting the Bills in hell. I
Mhm.
mean, it wasn't like they weren't feeding James Cook the ball at all. Like it wasn't like he
Yeah.
was ignored. But Michael, it really does feel though that Joe Brady, and then maybe to a certain extent Josh Allen, because he does like that. His offensive line did a very bad job pass protecting. He also was engaging in some hero ball. Like you saw it like last week when they played Tampa. He's just running around like a maniac. Making plays. It's fun to watch, but also you see the flip side of it is when you get all the turnovers, holding on to the ball too long, etc. The talk in Buffalo right now is they want Joe Brady fired and they want to bring back Brian Dable to be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
feels ballsy as hell. Dable's gonna need to do some soul searching before he finds an NFL job. If some of those the reports are true that we believe, combative, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, Josh Allen, I think he's feeling the general heat and vibe of the team where he's like, okay, well, the defense is pretty bad. We're all well aware that the Buffalo Bills defense is not great. They played their best game against Kansas City, and it was really surrounded by the fact that their pass rush was cooking. But that's a team. Kansas City can't run the ball, and that's the weakness to get to the Bills defense is to run the ball, and it makes everything else a hell of a lot worse. So I think Josh Allen is starting to kind of be like, okay, if we are going to win, I'm just going to need to outpace our bad defense. And when you're doing that against a great defense that's also giving you so many problems with the pass rush, it's going to lead to some dingbat type decisions. And that's kind of what you got, game on the line.
don't defend him. Come
It's
on.
not a defense. I mean, it's just what's happening. Like, he's throwing on the cape because the defense is bad, and more when you're going against a good defense, that's not going to play. We saw him do it against Tampa, which is like a solid-ish defense. They created a lot of turnovers, but he still hung 40 on them. Like, it wasn't he was able to turn the ball over 3 times and then produce 6 touchdowns himself. It was like a college football 25 game where you throw a bunch of picks, but it's just so high flying. You're still able to score a lot of touchdowns. You can't do that against good defenses. Good defenses aren't gonna let you put 6 touchdowns on their head on top of getting 3 turnovers. You're not getting that many opportunities to create points after that, as we saw with the Texans last night. And even then, they still were driving the ball downfield and had a chance to break another play to score. We didn't feel like it was gonna happen, but Christ, it was close. It's
You're going to see, I think we talk about like narratives in the NFL.
Mhm.
Dude, you're going to see like literally the PR Josh Allen's going to have this offseason, Michael, it's going to be disgusting. It's everyone else's fault but Josh Allen. Like literally, it's everyone else's fault. And dude, I feel like when that happens, whenever it's a quarterback and it's everyone else's fault, that can rub your teammates the wrong way, people in the organization. Like no one wants to be called terrible at their jobs, and yet here's a guy that's turning the ball over a lot. He's like Josh Allen. I mean, he's always struggled with turnovers. Like I got his stats pulled up here, Michael. So he's got 9 interceptions on the year. Last year he only had 6. The year prior he had 18. The year before that he had 14. Let me pull up his fumbles as well because that's also there. I am so sorry. So sorry. I don't know why Pro Football Reference doesn't put the fumbles.
Yeah, fumbles is not good to find there.
Oh, he's got 5 fumbles.
Yeah. No, it's last year was the big outlier with Allen's career of, like, not turning the ball over. It's the first year he really, really took care of the ball and,
He won an MVP.
won MVP for it, whatever. This is more, I guess, what we're accustomed to and, like, a
I
lot of
think Joe
turnovers from
Brady's just
him.
a bad offensive coordinator. I'm going to kind of give you a couple reasons why I think he's just bad. Number one, he was like the most like requested guy for interviews a couple years ago, and he never has been a finalist for a head coach.
Yeah.
Number two, he became this hot commodity because of what he did with Joe Burrow at LSU in 2019. Michael, what did he have at LSU when he was the offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Like 4 first-round picks?
Mhm.
Buffalo doesn't have like a number 2 receiver. Maybe Khalil Shakir is like a solid number 2 receiver who's masquerading as a number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo and listen, you took your swing, you tried with Keon Coleman, didn't really work out. I think you need
They
to
could have had Jalen Waddle on this team right now, but they didn't want to trade their first round pick next year.
could have had Waddle, there were I mean, it feels like every year there's they could have had DK Metcalf. You don't think DK Metcalf would have really helped this team a lot? Like, he was very much available. They could have had George Pickens. You don't think George Pickens would have helped a shit ton in Buffalo right now? Who cares about the other gymnastics of it all? George Pickens is an awesome player. He's a great player. Metcalf's having a really nice year with old man Rodgers playing quarterback. Like, I think those two
George
guys.
Pickens is about to make $30 million a year, Michael. It's going to
Sure,
happen.
and, like, it would have been nice, I think, if Buffalo could have had that opportunity to pay that guy. I don't know, like,
Now they wanted
you
Josh Palmer instead.
right, you moved on from Diggs, and maybe that was the right thing to do at the time, who's having a nice year in New England, nice bounce back from his injury, but yeah, I just think you're making your lives a lot harder by not investing into the receiver room, and when you're watching again, Josh Allen turning the ball over regardless of it or not, it would just be an easier situation if he had receivers that
I,
could get
I don't
open.
think they want to invest in a number 1 receiver like a Metcalf or a Pickens because they saw the Diggs situation, and I think they were worried about it dividing the team.
I mean, I think the Diggs situation should have been like hey, Josh Allen really took off when we got Stephon Diggs. Granted, he won an MVP without him, but that felt like politics more than anything. Why don't we just keep getting a number one receiver? Like, that felt like voter fatigue and like, oh, well, Josh didn't turn it over a lot this year, so he deserves it now. Maybe you could have went and got the number. What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to win him MVPs? Are we trying to win a Super Bowl? Like, what are we trying here? What happens all
Well,
the time? You're in the playoffs. It's not like Allen plays poorly in the playoffs because he really doesn't a ton, but a lot of the times it's like, okay, we just need to outpace Mahomes. We just need to outpace him one time. We just need to beat him out one time. I mean,
well,
what
there's
was going to happen in Baltimore if Mark Andrews caught that ball? They would have had the ball and had to go score again. They would have needed the offense to come through once again. This team isn't built on their defense. Their defense never holds the thing shut. And if you're not going to fully invest in the defense either, then invest a little bit into the receiver room. I get it. You tried with Keon Coleman. Good try. Failed. You keep healthy scratching him. Go get someone that's a proven commodity.
well, Curtis Samuel.
That's what I'm saying. What the hell are we
Elijah
doing?
Moore.
Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore? You're picking up everyone's crumbs.
If you wanted to know what the early 2000s Eagles were like, Michael, it's kind of like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, sure. With a lot, well, I mean, offensively, I guess the Eagles' defense there was significantly better. But
Well, the Bills' defense before this year wasn't like, oh my god, the Bills' defense is trash.
it wasn't garbage. But like that those teams were elite. Bills defensively good, but whenever you needed them, and then it starts getting dicey. But regardless, the Texans get a humongous win and a humongous loss to Buffalo. It all but almost wraps up the AFC East for the New England Patriots with that loss.
Yeah,
And
Haley Steinfeld thing has aged like milk.
yeah, it really catapulted the Texans into legitimate playoff contention. It's going to be tough, man, because their team still struggles a bit, and they need to. They're staving off some damn good teams at this point to make the playoffs, unless they can, unless the Colts further like go on some sort of collapse and they can maybe steal the division. But they do play the Colts twice, so there is opportunity to make up some ground there. But it was a good Thursday night game. It was entertaining. We had some drama with the official potentially tearing his Achilles or something, and we had the the it's not a replacement ref. It's just like the guy that's not a white hat
They took the
wore a
line
white
judge
hat.
and had
Yeah,
him.
made him the white hat. So, him putting some extra drama in the pass interference call was hilarious. I'm watching that live. I was like, it's so funny when he
Pass
pauses between on
interference.
the offense.
Offense.
It was awesome.
Yeah!
That was great. That was so fun. It was a good day to have the Texans defense in fantasy. Derek Barnett cost me another 6 points because that effing guy can't keep his head screwed on straight and has to drill a guy in the back on a return regardless. Good Thursday night game. Let's get into Sunday. Let's talk about the Sunday slate of games we have here. To kick us off, we have no overseas games. The games are starting at 1:00. The Pittsburgh Steelers head to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Now, Aaron Rodgers, is he not playing? Or I didn't think he was. He's questionable with like a broken wrist. He was limited in Friday's practice, officially questionable injury designation. Feels like if he's questionable, he's probably playing. Like it feels like if he was gonna not play, I think they would have just said he was out. They wouldn't have been dicking around with this. Is that do you
This
agree?
feels like an Aaron Rodgers mind game because remember he pointed at the Bears bench a couple years ago. I think it was like the 100th anniversary of the NFL.
It was the fans. He was yelling at the fans.
I own you.
Yeah, at the fans there.
This is kind of like the boogeyman is on his last legs if you're the Bears, and you can one final time potentially just kick his ass. Michael, here's my thing though with these two teams. These two teams win games like the exact same way. Like there's just like a certain level of wildness and like unpredictability to how they win games. So I feel like this is a very difficult game to pick. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. Like, doesn't it feel like if I know the Bears, like I think I know the Bears, they're gonna lose this game?
These aren't your well, your dad's Bears actually won a Super Bowl, I suppose.
Yeah, our dads wrote.
These aren't your older cousins' Bears, Michael.
They went to a Super Bowl. These aren't my Bears, I guess. They're not my Bears that I grew up with. I don't know, man. It just they've been winning by the skin of their teeth pretty often. Like JJ McCarthy was horrible. I was listening to Theo's podcast and he goes, watching back that game, Vikings have receivers open on pretty much every single play. McCarthy just can't hit any of them. And it was very funny. And it honestly feels true, man. He's late on his throws, inaccurate, all that sort of stuff.
Are you trying to say that Mason, who's the quarterback if it's not going to be
it's Rudolph if it's not Rodgers?
Skylar Thompson.
Wait, what?
Rudolph, and then he's backed up by Skylar Thompson.
Oh, yeah. But like the Steelers have been proven to just be a little more normal on offense.
The Steelers do tend to like win games they shouldn't win with like backup QBs as well.
Like the Steelers, dude, like they're not beating Buffalo next week, right? So they kind of got to win this one. What's their record right now? What are they, 6-5? Yeah, they're sitting at 6-4. They can afford to drop this one, I guess, if they're going to go like 9-8. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears, man.
I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think it's because
are the Bears going to be 8-3 entering the Eagle game?
Even though the line is only 2.5, this is maybe kind of my justification for picking the Steelers. Is that the Bears have been walking a very fine line and have been getting lucky in a lot of these wins. I feel like at some point, when you look at the ebb and flow of the league, it's going to bite them. Like, they're going to be winning this game, most of this game, and then they're going to get some bad luck. They're going to get, like, Caleb Williams is going to get sacked, fumbled, TJ Watt's going to pick it up, and then people are going to be like, oh, well, everyone talks about Myles Garrett, but TJ Watt, like that crap.
This felt like the Vikings. It felt like the opposite of that. I felt like the Vikings were kind of like, oh, they're just going to win this one ugly, and the Bears snatched.
Well, no, it's because 9 sucks. Like,
yeah, he snatched.
I might actually honestly
from the jaws of victory.
Honestly, I think Mason Rudolph is a better quarterback than 9. How about that? You like that take?
I mean, today, like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, I would venture to say that JJ McCarthy might rank like 38 out of how many ever quarterbacks there are.
Wow.
Like, if I told you that entering the Black Friday game, the Bears were going to be 8-3, what would your vibe be? What would you be thinking? Would you be thinking we're like cooked? Like, what would you be thinking?
Ben Johnson is a genius.
Yeah. And it's like the Bears are winning, but it hasn't looked very pleasing more often than not. The offense really isn't cooking on all cylinders.
Well, like the fact
defense
that
is bad.
Secondary is like injured. Like come on, Michael. Remember when we played the Giants in 2017 and our entire secondary was injured and like old Eli Manning was cooking us?
Oh, the Foles game. Yeah.
No, not the Foles game. I mean the
first one.
The Jake Elliott 61-yard game winner.
I mean, were they all hurt in week 3? Christ, I don't remember.
Well, Maragos had to start, and then he got hurt in that game.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's just such secondary wasn't that good to begin with.
Like
being
Malcolm, I
completely
think
frank.
it was like Malcolm, like Rasul Douglas,
Yeah, those were
Chris,
just the guys.
like Chris Maragos, and maybe like
I mean, was it Mills? I feel like Mills was playing. I don't remember.
Jalen Mills.
But,
I think Jalen Mills might have gotten hurt in that game.
all right, so we're split there. That's a tough one. That'll be a fun one to watch, I think. It'll probably be an ugly, close game. Next game, we're widening up these spreads here. The Jets play the Ravens. Justin Fields officially benched for Tyrod Taylor. The Ravens haven't really started clicking on offense yet, but they're winning games, and we talk about it every week. All that matters is that they stack wins, with the 1-5 start. 13.5-point favorites, though. I don't think the Jets have any juice, to be completely honest with you. Like, while the Ravens defense isn't great,
even though the Patriots covered the last game, Michael, it did feel like if the Jets had better quarterback play, that game could have maybe have gone down. I don't say down the wire, but
it might have.
I mean,
might have.
maybe.
New England wasn't playing amazing.
I mean, the Jets are playing much better on defense lately. But that
they're playing inspired football. But I'm going with Baltimore.
I don't know. This feels like. I mean, here's the thing, though, man, and this is where I'm always nervy about the Ravens when they're playing these god awful teams. This is when like John Harbaugh, like Harbaugh's it up. Like, remember when they played the Raiders last year?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, the Raiders are so bad. Like, and they came back and won.
Looking at the Ravens schedule,
couldn't you potentially see Harbaugh just like blowing this in the fourth quarter?
Looking at their schedule for when they're going to Ravens it up, when he's going to Harbaugh it up, whatever. They play the Bengals twice in a 3-week stretch.
You're going to get Jamar Chase coming off Spitgate 2.0. He's going to be mad.
On Thanksgiving.
With Burrow.
Feels like there could be some...
Michael, as well as I do, Burrow is going to be throwing 30-yard bombs the entire game.
Give me Baltimore tomorrow, and then we'll figure out Thanksgiving.
You don't think this could be a look ahead to a key divisional matchup against the Bengals? This could be a trap game. I mean, the Ravens are surging right now. Like, they haven't really looked like. I mean, I
wouldn't call them surging. They beat the brakes. Like, they beat the Dolphins badly, but again, they didn't look good doing it. And like they beat 9 by 8 points. They beat Cleveland, by a touchdown. Like, they're winning, but they don't look great doing it. Their best looking win was against the Bears with Tyler Huntley.
So why are you picking them to cover?
Because the Jets are really bad.
I'm taking the Jets to
really
cover the
bad.
13.5.
All right. Jets are terrible. So, the next game we have is Detroit Lions at home against the New York Giants. Jackson
I'm taking
Dart.
Detroit, Michael. You know why I'm taking Detroit? Because these assholes love the comp I gave to Detroit to people. And there's people I know that went to a certain university that happens to be in the middle of the state we live in, Michael. I said the Detroit Lions are basically the Penn State Nittany Lions. When they play these bad teams, they love to run the score up. But when they have to play a good opponent, they just, poop the bed, as they would say.
Yeah. Jackson Dart officially out with a concussion. They were saying he was optimistic, but no, he's not playing. It's going to be Jameis again. I don't think any of that really matters. The Lions coming off one of their worst offensive performances under this regime in a while against the Eagles. Eagles defense had them in hell.
Yeah, I would say like the worst like offensive performance since they lost to the Cowboys in like 2021 by like 40 points. They scored like only 3 points against Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean that's just such like a
it's been a long time
since different vibe. Yeah. So, they're back at home. They're back in a dome. They're gonna be angry. So I'll take them.
This feels like a shame. You know what? I've been saying to people who some of my friends who have Jameson Williams in fantasy, I said I think he's a must flex if you're like debating between him and like a Jalen Warren, for example, if you want to flex. This feels like we're going to need to get the point of emphasis I've noticed since Dan Campbell has now become the play caller is getting Jameson Williams involved, especially now that it's being rumored that Amon-Ra's wrist injury could be a lot more serious than the Lions are letting on. And Sam Laporta's got a fractured vertebrae too.
I mean, he's out for the year. Like he's done. So yeah, Jameson Williams, he's their home run hitter in the passing game. I mean, Amon-Ra is great route runner, great route technician, usually has pretty steady hands, but if that wrist is serious, that jacks it up. But if they want to hit some like explosive passing plays, Jameson Williams is the guy, and Dan Campbell was sick of him not getting involved. So yeah, we saw him against the Eagles, hit some big splash plays, some of their few good offensive plays. But yeah, listen, I just think it's going to be an all onslaught for the Lions offense. Patriots Bengals is the next game we have. So no Jamar Chase, but they may be getting back. No, they won't be. They will not be getting back Joe Burrow. He is out. It was close. He opened up his practice window. They were very close to, I think, giving him the starting role, but it's going to be one more week. So it is Joe Flacco once again. No Jamar Chase. In my mind, New England on the road in Cincinnati, initially, like early leans, I was like, maybe this is the one where they start to flounder a little bit. Bengals can keep this one close. But as the week progressed and the spit gate and the no Burrow, and it just was like, all right, well, New England probably just takes care of their business and they'll flounder against the next decent team they play. They could be on their bye, if all I know. I'm not sure. They are on their bye next week. Yeah. And coming out of the bye, they play the Giants at home. So there's no look ahead there. So yeah, give me New England -7.
I'm looking up Mike Vrabel's record. What his record is before the bye. So
before the bye.
So yeah, so Vrabel is really good off of the bye. I want to see how he is before the bye. I know sometimes when teams go before they hit their bye week, I would say they slack off, but there is like a look ahead to finally getting some rest. I think I'm taking the Bengals to cover.
I think you just wanted to pick the Bengals, and you were trying to find like some sort of rationale, some sort of.
Well, no, I feel like because New England's just on such a roll, and we just know about like we talk about in like the push pull theory, right?
I mean, I think the Jets game was that. I think that was their.
The Patriots covered the spread that night.
Yeah, by a half a point. Like some books, they didn't. Some books,
and then the Bengals didn't against the Steelers, and I think maybe like, hey, they're playing the Ravens Thursday. Burrow's about to be back. I mean, they love Joe Burrow, right? Gramps.
Sure.
Listen, Grandpa Burrow. Sorry, Grandpa Burrow. Geez, Grandpa Flacco has done an admirable job on them for offense.
Yeah.
I don't, Michael. I just have this feeling that like Josh McDaniels is going to dramatically overthink like literally how like historically bad this Bengal defense is, and it's just going to be like 21-17 New England. Like the Patriot way isn't blowing teams out, Michael. It's winning close, hard not football games and, watching film when you're not supposed to be watching film. And then,
I don't know. I just think the Bengals might be the worst team in the league.
That's a pretty.
I mean, they might have the worst defense of all time. There's that.
I mean, what did the Titans like all of a sudden not exist anymore?
I mean, I get it, but I think the Titans' defense, I think, is a lot better than what Cincinnati has to offer.
Yeah, they also
Offensively, they're pretty bad, but I mean, you take away Jamar Chase, and all of a sudden that offense is a lot less pretty looking. You got 40-year-old Joe throwing to T and calling it a day. Listen, we'll see. We will be seeing. Next game we have, speaking of, the Tennessee Titans are at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks coming off a pretty brutal loss. You look like garbage, you throw 4 picks, and you're still in it to the very end. It's got to be frustrating to lose that way. But they travel across the country to go play the Titans on the road, and the Titans, Cam Ward showing his flashes. I do think there's a good player in there that will eventually come out. Hopefully, the team around him gets built out pretty nicely. But for now, it doesn't really seem like that's coming around. And the Seahawks in a kind of a must win if they want to keep their division hopes alive. They got to be able to keep pace with the Rams. And these are the type of games you just got to be able to tuck away and put your head on the pillow and win a game pretty easily. So I'm going to take Seahawks to cover the big spread here, minus 12.5.
Do you know Cam Ward's on pace to get sacked 70 times this year?
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not good at all. I'm taking the Seahawks as well. I mean, I think it's reasonable to question, though, like, now that Darnold got, like, punched in the mouth by the Rams,
Mhm.
like, how's he going to respond? Because you saw it last year with the Vikings. They lost to the Lions in that close game for the division, right? Dramatic Week 18 Sunday Night Football. And then they go out the next game against the Rams and gets punched in the mouth again. And and then it was so bad where Kevin O'Connell was like, was ready to call security after the game to have him escorted off the property of the stadium, how angry he was at him, With that being said,
Yeah.
they're going to bounce back and blow this Titans team out, I think. I'm taking the Seahawks.
Okay. Next game, interesting one here. Packers-Vikings in Green Bay. 6.5 point spread. The Packers are favored by.
I mean, Jamo's a better quarterback than 9. Like, I know it was a close.
Jordan Love, you mean?
Jordan Love. Well, no, I mean, I'm thinking like in this game, like, James, like Winston was making some.
Oh, Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess. No, you're not wrong. The Packers, dude, I think until they show me that they can really start clicking, I'm gonna have to kind of fade them a little bit. I do think they win the game, but they've shown
Do you think it's a little?
why weren't they able to go beat up on the
mean,
Giants this
I know
week?
you've been saying this the last couple weeks. Don't you kind of feel Justin Jefferson's due to have a monster game?
I don't think the quarterback's capable of getting him the ball enough to have a monster game. I'm so serious when I say that. I don't think he can he has to be so wide open for an extended period of time for him to be able to get the ball downfield. I don't think he's going to be hitting stride more than once in a game. I don't think he's going to be hitting a tight window where he's open and he can get his hands on it. I don't think any of that's going to happen.
Do you think that? Yeah, you know what? I agree. I'm taking the Packers. I will have to say this though. When you look at the Packers, I feel like if Carson was healthy playing in this game, they would have a much better chance of winning than they do with 9.
I don't. Oh man, that's quite a thought. I don't know. Maybe I guess they're both just putrid. When I look at Green Bay, it's like they had every reason to blow out the Giants coming off that bad Eagles game, and then they get really banged up. They're banged up as hell. Like Josh Jacobs is probably going to play, but he's officially questionable. All the receivers had their injury designations lifted, but they're all kind of banged up. And to me, it just feels like they're going to be skating by, and hopefully the health kind of turns their way in the playoffs. But at the moment, they're playing and they seem like they're coached all like scared. They're playing a little scared. They're being coached a little scared. It feels like that heat of the job pressure on Matt LaFleur is getting to him a little bit. He's not coaching loosely.
Yeah,
And
you know what? It's interesting. I do find it very odd, Michael, that the coach that's on the hot seat in this game is LaFleur and not Kevin O'Connell. When you consider the fact that Kevin O'Connell wanted JJ McCarthy.
yeah, I don't know what you saw in him. Like, just go to all of his big college games, and it's like, okay, well, he
Like,
didn't
do you like?
throw
Do you think? I mean,
many
listen. I think Kevin
passes.
O'Connell's a great head coach, and the GM is probably going to want in Minnesota is probably going to wind up getting fired after this year because he's just done an awful job at drafting the last couple years.
Mhm.
Realistically, like taking Dallas Turner over Jared Verse.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
the Vikings,
we're
it's a shame
laughing and it's like absurd, but that's what gets you fired.
because yeah. I
Nine
think
drafting nine.
9 must have had, like, an interview that made Kevin O'Connell think he's, like, the mentality of genuine lions put in one man, and then he forgot, like, "Dude, this guy blows." Like, listen, man, he has, like, infinitely less tools than what Sam Darnold had after his various stints
Dude,
around the
Bo
league.
Nix would have been better for the Vikings.
Yeah. Yeah, at least he's got a stronger arm, I guess. It's bad. It's real bad. But I am taking Minnesota to cover the spread. I think Green Bay wins, but I think it's a little closer than everyone wants.
Okay. All right. Next game.
Are you taking Minnesota as well?
No, I picked the
Oh,
Packers.
okay, okay. We'll see how that turns out. I should probably just keep fading 9, but this is less about him and more about Green Bay in my eyes. This biggest game of the season for one of those teams in there, the Kansas City Chiefs, sitting at 5-5, are at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are three
Do
and a
you,
half point
I
underdogs in
so
Arrowhead.
Michael, despite the fact Daniel Jones has won a playoff game, do you feel like this is the biggest game of his career?
Of Daniel Jones's career, I mean,
Going
no, he
into
played in playoff
Arrowhead,
game. The biggest regular season game of his career, perhaps. This is a big spot for, like, and when we talk about, remember when we were early in the season and the Ravens were playing the Chiefs and they were both 0-2, and I said to you, John, one team I think can afford to lose this game more than the other one, and that team was the Baltimore Ravens. I said they can afford to lose this one because the schedule really lightens up. Granted, I didn't expect them to go 1-5 and then Lamar to get hurt, and I thought the whole season was going to be over for them. But the general principle seemed to be coming true as the Ravens are on a winning streak and they play the Jets this week, and it feels like they're going to catapult themselves into first place of the AFC North. I said Kansas City can't afford that loss, and I was right. They just have happened to have lost other games along the way to where the division is pretty much closed. Looking at it now, playoff picture, who can afford to lose this game? The uh, you know, Indianapolis Colts, who are sitting at the top of the AFC North, excuse me, the
AFC
South,
South.
sitting at the top of the AFC South, 2 games up on the Jags, or the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 3rd in their division. They are essentially 3 games behind the team in 2nd place, and 1st place feels like it's a long ways away. They don't have the tiebreaker versus, uh 2 of the teams currently sitting in, all 3 teams actually in the wild card picture. They do not have the tiebreaker against Buffalo. They do not have the tiebreaker against Jacksonville. They do not have the tiebreaker against the Chargers. The Chiefs can't afford to lose this game. They just simply cannot. If they lose this game, they are probably missing the playoffs. With all that being said, the Colts, looking at their schedule, this is a tough game with Kansas City. Then they have a real tough game at home against the Texans. Then they go at Jacksonville, at Seahawks, home 49ers, home Jacksonville, at Texans. That is an atrociously difficult schedule to end the season for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if they're gonna be able to hold all their water together, but they built up enough leeway early in the season that if there's a game they can afford to lose, it's probably against one of the teams not in their division. Give me the Chiefs minus 3.5 at home, and it must one of the more of all regular season games the Chiefs have played with Mahomes and Andy Reid, this is probably the most must-win there has ever been for them.
I agree with everything you just said. I'm taking the Chiefs as well. I will say this though, for the Colts to win, if there's one thing that the Chiefs, like the Jim Johnson style defense, has, is that if they aren't trying to sell out to stop the run, like with a lot of their blitzes they like to call, I mean, Jonathan Taylor can just rip 170 yards for a touchdown.
He could, man. It's gonna be hard to stop Taylor for Kansas City. They're gonna have to load up the box. I mean, listen, they're gonna go through the method of we're loading up the box. We're gonna make Daniel Jones beat us, and like sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. Hopefully, if you're getting pressure with your front four, I don't think Steve Spagnuolo needs to like emotional blitz. It feels like sometimes he gets in a mood and is like, I'm gonna send 7, and then like someone's wide open on the back end. It's like, all right, dude, maybe you should have just chilled out. So
I think
maybe
this
they
is
can
a very
avoid that.
this is a very intriguing game for a couple reasons too, because on the Chiefs sideline, Travis Kelce, first ballot Hall of Fame tight end, and then for the Colts, you have Tyler Warren, who Michael might be the next Travis Kelce for all we know. He's really good.
Yeah, he's contention for
I
tight
think
end 1.
you know what, and also think too, like the Colts defense,
It's good, man.
it's really good. Like the Colts are a better team, but like now, see, like I hate falling into the fallacy when everyone did in the Super Bowl. We're like, the Eagles are clearly better at the Chiefs at almost every position, with the exception of quarterback. But the Chiefs will win because it's the Chiefs, and then they get stomped.
So are you saying that the Colts are better at every position except the quarterback, and for that reason,
Yes, they are.
but you're still taking Kansas City?
Except for like D tackle because of Chris Jones. Even Chris Jones is near the end of his career, like as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs, I guess.
Dicey, man, dicey.
Do you
But
feel?
I am
Do
with
you
you.
feel so? Like, if the Chiefs like lose this game, though, like, let's just, I don't know.
And listen, it's
If
very
they lose
plausible that
this
they lose
game,
this
do you
game.
feel like you're gonna hear like, does Andy still got it?
I mean,
is this
I'll
just
be
like
honest, out of fairness to the Chiefs,
you
we've
can't just
had
be
what?
dominant every year? It's impossible.
Right. We've had 8 straight years or 7 straight years, how many of like with the exception of one having an AFC title game at Arrowhead. They've gone to 3 straight Super Bowls, winning 2 of them, obviously. It just feels unfair, I think, for and granted, missing the playoffs would be very bad, but for a year where that doesn't end with, the AFC coming down to a game in Arrowhead or they're in the Super Bowl, whatever, it feels unfair to, I think, just start launching all these tomatoes at them of like, "Oh, dynasty's dead. Oh, no, 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 oh, no, no." Because, like, this is just more fuel to, like, the whole, like, Twitter world and the way we view sports and the way we talk about sports now because, New England went through a period from 2007. Well, the New England went through a period of not winning a Super Bowl from what, 2004 until 2014. Was it 10 years between winning Super Bowls, a part of their 20-year dynasty? And it's like they missed the playoffs in the year that Brady got hurt. They would be getting bounced in the first round from time to time or losing to, a good defense.
Like the
Like,
Ravens
dude, were
or
people on sports talk radio
Denver.
like, "Oh, it's dead, it's dead, it's dead." And it's like then they went undefeated and then lost the Super Bowl, and it's like, "Oh, is it dead now?" Like, no, it was never dead. It's very difficult to do what they have done. Granted, did I expect it to come crashing down and potentially a missing the playoffs sort of way? No. But we did feel we kind of felt last year was potential, but we definitely felt this year that this was gonna be the year that someone breaks through. And, we talk about Houston, whatever. I don't it's a down year for big head in the AFC. It's a down year for Baltimore. It's a down year for Buffalo. It's a down year for Kansas City. So, I don't know if Allen or Lamar are going to be the ones to dethrone Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It might just be the Houston Texans and that great defense. Could it be, Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts to do it? Could it be the new regime of Drake May and the Patriots? Could it be Bo frickin' Nix, for Christ's sake? I don't know, but they got to get there. And if they do want to get there, it starts with a massive win tomorrow, because 5-6, looking ahead to what they have left on the schedule, it is going to be ugly. Now we're starting like, dude, are they even going to finish for over 500? And that would be quite a fall from grace. Moving on, though, opening up the 4 o'clock slate, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Now the Jags,
I can't
they are
I
playing.
can't get a read on that team, man.
I feel like that's an accurate assessment of, like, that's what they are. You're correct. We cannot get a read on them. They're incapable of getting a read on them, because some weeks they look great, like against the Houston Texans, like they did, or not the Texans, against the Los Angeles Chargers, like they did. They dominated, looked awesome. And then other games, they look like utter slop. And again, it feels like they're very much like the 2019 Eagles. Clearly, they have some blowout potential, but they're up and down. They're up and down. If they want to keep pace, they got to be able to go and beat Jacoby Brissett. Like no other real way to kind of put that. He just broke the
Do you think
completion
that
record, and they
Brissett's
got
due to
blown
have
out.
just like a trash game since he just broke the NFL record for most completions in a game?
Yeah, I mean, he broke the record and they got blown out. So, like, what does that say about the Cardinals? And it's like the defense wasn't great, but I wouldn't put the blowout solely on the defense. They only put up 22 points. It's not like they got blown out 60-40. They got blown out 40-20. It's like, dude, you barely scored what, 3 touchdowns? You completed 50 freaking passes. What the hell's going on? Give me the Jags -3, I guess. I don't know. That's so ugly. It's such a game I don't want to watch at all.
I'm going against my judgment here, man. I think I'm taking the Cardinals.
Oh my goodness.
I'm streaming Trevor Lawrence in fantasy because that was
This
the most logical choice, Michael, of all my available options.
Yeah.
Right? Bro, man, I could see Trevor Lawrence being sacked 10 times tomorrow, and they score 10 points and then they lose 13-10.
Listen, the ebbs and flows of the Jacksonville Jaguars
There's
have led
just slop.
to this.
This is just brain rot slop. Like that video I sent you.
Yeah,
ChatGPT, who's gonna win this game?
I mean, you look at the Jags, they play the Titans next week too. They would behoove them. Their schedule's just not that bad to end the year. They do play the Colts twice and Denver, but they play at Cardinals, at Titans, home Colts, home Jets, at Broncos, at Colts, home Titans. They gotta, if they want to make the playoffs, they really got to
feel like
stack
the
home the
Jags
easy
are going to
wins.
screw up everyone's parlay tomorrow. That's my read on it. They're going to.
Yeah, I have to not put them in anything. I can't be dumb.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
Can't be stupid.
Getting the 3.
Next game, the starting quarterback debut of Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns are 3.5 underdogs against the Raiders. That's crazy that the Raiders are laying 3.5 against anybody at this point. I'm going to close my eyes and take the Browns because their defense is actually still really good, and Myles Garrett might have 12 sacks on Sunday, and that'll probably be enough no matter how bad or whatever Shedeur looks. If there's ever a defense that blows too, that can make a quarterback not look so bad, it's probably Shedeur. It's probably the Raiders. So give me Shedeur. Give me the Browns +3.5. I'll load up with the public and the spread. Everyone's taking the Browns +3.5. Give it to me with them.
So Myles Garrett has 15 sacks on the season. The NFL record,
he might get to 20 this week,
is 22.5.
I mean, he's going to steamroll that, right?
Well,
in theory,
if he gets 4 sacks tomorrow, then he'll need 3.5 after tomorrow. Hypothetically,
I mean, if he
to
gets how
tie
many
the
games
record.
are left? Either they play 10 games, they got 7 games left. If he gets 1 a game, he's breaking the record,
Well,
right?
he would be a half a sack off. He would need to average
What, like 1.1 sacks the rest of the way to
if he has a sack in every game the rest of the year and then has a multi-sack game, he will
he's
break
in
the
there.
record.
Yeah, okay. That feels realistic. Which good
Would
for him.
you
Good
know,
player.
man, so here's the thing, which like I feel bad for Shador because like you saw who tweeted out they were like Shador, this is the Browns' fault because they never gave Shador first team reps. Like, well, they really don't give backup quarterbacks first team reps. It's kind of not
Everyone kind
how
of
it works.
Yeah, everyone's kind of lost their minds a little bit with Shador, with just like how the process of the NFL works. Like
Now,
you
in
could say he
fairness,
shouldn't have been drafted that low, sure, but like he was, so he's gonna get treated as such, you know? Like they're not gonna give him special treatment because he's
yeah,
Shador
this isn't like
Sanders.
Jackson Dart splitting reps the first couple weeks and then being
He's a first round pick. Like, it's just a totally different world.
With that being
Could you
said,
imagine getting mad in 2018 because Clayton Thorson wasn't getting first team reps?
wow,
Do you remember that? Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
man. All right, I got the. Oh gosh, dude. And, are all the Raiders wins at home? Here, so
all
this is
what? All one of
2.
them? Oh, they have 2 wins. They beat New England at New England week 1. I was very confident in that pick. For like the wrong reasons, obviously, is the way it's turned out. But they did beat New England out there. And I can't remember their other win.
So I'm going to say this about the Raiders.
Who did they beat? They beat the Bengals or something?
So believe it or not,
The Jets?
the Browns have scored more points this year than the Raiders. I'm taking Cleveland.
Oh, the Raiders beat the Titans. That's right.
Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna go with dude. Like looking at the money line, you
They're
gotta
taking the you
you
say
gotta be
taking
a
the
sick
Raiders?
freak to be betting this game. You gotta be a sick
And
puppy.
taking Vegas?
I'm gonna take Vegas, laying
Alright.
the 3.5.
NFC South matchup.
What?
Staring at this at the 4:30 slate, thinking, what in the hell was the NFL
You want to
thinking with
talk
this
about
one?
staring into the abyss? This game.
I mean, what do you mean you couldn't put the Vikings Packers in this slot, like preseason? That is, I get it. Maybe you think Colts Chiefs was going to be worthy of this spot. That's fine. But like, what in the hell were they envisioning between a Spencer Rattler Michael Penix showdown, like when they made this up in May, and now it's turned into Kirk Cousins versus Tyler Shuck? What the hell were they thinking? Goodness gracious, the Atlanta Falcons, they should be castrated as a franchise because the
Wow.
way that they have squandered this like opportunity, not that they had like a golden opportunity, but they kind of did. They could have traded for Lamar Jackson. Like we all forget that 2 teams weren't willing to part with 2 first-round picks for Lamar frickin' Jackson. Where
Well, that
would the
was because of
Falcons be?
collusion and racism.
Well, that's my point. Delusion and racism is leading
No,
to your ineptitude.
collusion and
Oh,
racism.
illusion. Well, also delusion as well. All of it.
Well,
So
yeah, it's true. I mean, the league told them no one to do it like that for some
yeah,
reason. I don't
which I
understand.
mean, whatever.
Roger Goodell.
You draft Michael Penix, who's got like barbecue brisket knees coming out of college, and like, oh shocker, he needs knee surgery again. Who could have predicted this coming? You gave 160 million to a Best Buy worker who's also a backup quarterback now, and like he's playing. The defense, which I thought was good, is now a
I was
joke.
gonna say Cole's model, but
Do you know how many commercials, YouTube ads I get that literally look AI generated of Kirk Cousins saying he's ready for his haircut at Great Clips? Like, it's truly unbelievable. I mean, I hate the Falcons. I really, really do. They've cost a good amount of money this year. They're so annoying because they have great players. Drake London's out. The Saints are favored for Christ. 2-18
I'm taking the
is favored.
Saints, dude.
So am I, man. F these guys. Give me the Saints minus 2.5. Falcons are winning shit.
So
They're gonna finish. They're gonna finish with the 3rd overall pick that they don't have. How about that?
Dude, I am just praying when the Rams get that pick that they're gonna take like
They're not. They're taking. They're not gonna. They're gonna take some star like corner to help out the secondary, and everything's gonna be happy dory in Los Angeles for another year before Stafford's like veneers break his jaw or something.
Have you seen the memes of people like, 2-8, but we have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, and then it's
Yes,
like
yeah, and the
3 and
Falcons
8.
have 3 and 7, no picks, and our quarterback's dead. Like, it's basically what's going on there. So, yeah, we're both taking the Saints there. Next, we have the. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Eagle game, so we'll skip that. Last, Sunday Night Football. Huge, huge game for Tampa as they head to SoFi to take on the Rams. The Rams are 6.5-point favorites, quite the spread, but probably deserving. The Rams have probably looked like in all grand scheme of the NFL, a top-down view of the whole thing, they've probably looked like the best team in the league, I would say. Their offense is usually pretty consistently high-powered. Their pass rush is helping a lot with their poor secondary, which is coming on as of late. They just look like a really well put together, well-rounded team, and they're able to score, when they need to. And their record shows for you. They only got 2 losses, and they're praying for an Eagles slip up because of that brutal loss to them that gave the Eagles the tiebreaker for the 1 seed in the NFC. But the Rams got to keep their pace, and Tampa, they're floundering a bit. They might be getting some of their guys back, but it looks like if Bucky Irving's back, he's only going to be available in a limited capacity. Chris Godwin might be back too, but that also feels like it feels like the panic button's kind of being pressed with the Buccaneers, and they're rushing some of their guys back a little bit because they really feel that they need them at this point, with the way that they've been playing as of late. And I agree, they definitely need their guys back, but if they're not 100% healthy, it could be a risk. And with all that being said, the Rams are definitely the healthier unit, so I'm going to take the Rams minus 6.5.
It does feel like at some point the Rams are just gonna have to have like a.
I mean, was it not the Seattle game where they intercept the quarterback 4 times and they almost lost? Like, they survived that.
Like, I'm thinking like they're just gonna have an off day, and
maybe it's next week in Carolina against the Panthers. That the way the Panthers have been going, that's the sneaky, frisky.
No, I don't know. I don't think
Following week against the Cardinals, maybe.
No, I'm going to take Tampa.
Right before New Year's against the Falcons.
Yeah, like this is like to me, the Falcons. The Falcons kind. I mean, this
not
is
the Falcons. You mean the Bucks?
Sorry for the Bucks. This is a must-win game because for a couple reasons, in my opinion. One, you just brought up the Panthers. They're annoying. Like if you're a Bucks fan, like that is just pure annoyance that you have the Panthers beating good teams, and now this division you thought was a lock like week 4 is now a sweat. And look, your defense got humiliated last week because Josh Allen scored 6 touchdowns. Now he goes against a really good defense and gets his brains beaten in the following week. That if you're
you turned him over 3 times and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, like if you're like a Bucks defensive player right now, I'd be pretty pissed off entering this game. And if you look at the Rams, dude, like I don't know, man, like they're winning all these games, but Puka's like banged up like every week. Devontae Adams, like he hasn't really developed that like connection like with Matthew Stafford where you're like,
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I just
or like
think they're cherry picking
if I were to
touchdowns.
pull Devontae Adams' numbers, like he's not old, like he's old, but he's not like he's on pace to maybe break 1,000 yards this year, like maybe.
Is he? I don't know.
Well, yeah, he only has 500. So it's weird. He leads the NFL in touchdown catches, but all of his touchdown catches, Michael, are for like
They're 1
5
yard
yards.
fades. Yeah, no, they're pandering. I mean, he should have better numbers than what he's had, since 2024. Like he obviously was hurt a lot, and then Jets, whatever. Like he should break 1,000 yards, I would say. It'll be close, but playing alongside Puka, sure. I hear you. There is a possible letdown for the Rams. I just at home on Sunday night doesn't feel like the spot for me. But when
And I
a
think the
team like
Rams
Tampa
defense,
isn't
I
good
don't think
enough,
the Rams defense is in the same category as like the Texans, the Eagles, and the
of course
Broncos.
not. It's still good though.
And then
It's
it's good, but I feel like this Tampa offense is also really good. So then it's going to really come down to the Tampa defense versus
Yeah.
the Rams offense, which look, man, I don't know. Like we're hearing a lot of Matthew Stafford MVP chatter. Like, is this going to be like, is this because the MVP is a narrative award, Michael? We both know this. They're not
it feels like this is
they're
the
not
Stafford
giving
year.
it to a non-quarterback. I'm sorry, they are not. Unless Jonathan Taylor runs for 250 yards tomorrow, and then the Colts beat the Chiefs handedly.
If Stafford somehow got hurt and was like out for misses like 4 games or something, I think it's Taylor's award to. Well, it's Drake May. Even then, yeah, it's Drake May.
No,
So,
but I think honestly, Stafford has a down game tomorrow. Like he throws like 3 picks, and it's like,
oh well, I mean, if he sucks, yeah.
like 21-17, I could see like,
I don't know. Do you genuinely see Stafford throwing 3 picks tomorrow?
logically no, but I also have this thought in the back of my head where it's like he's playing so well. Like, listen, man, like I think Matthew Stafford should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he was very underappreciated and unrecognized
Sure.
for
I
a
mean,
very large part of his career.
yeah.
That's why I think giving him the MVP this year, it would be like a lifetime. It's like it would be the Lifetime Achievement Award MVP for Matthew Stafford to help him get to the NFL Hall of Fame. You know. That being said, I'm taking the Bucks. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I mean, honestly, I could see like we could see Baker brain rot tomorrow, where it's like you're gonna see people tweeting like, Chase Daniels should be thrown in jail for the glazing of Baker Mayfield and his stupid website when he's playing like a moron.
Right. All right. Monday night, Panthers 49ers. Panthers felt like they were going to, ebb and flow, felt like they were going to come back down against Atlanta. Atlanta must need win, all that sort of stuff. And Bryce Young goes for like 460. And they steal the game at the very end. Yeah, no, I think the Niners -7 here is the play for me. Feels like the Panthers just got to come back down to earth again. They're just not very good. They're winning games in ugly ways.
96% on the money line.
Yeah, no, like the Panthers are just not good, man. Like I mentioned that simple rating system of margin of victory and then strength of schedule. The Panthers are the second, like according to that metrics, the Panthers are the second worst team in the NFC, only better than the New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
It's really like not pretty there. It just if they can keep finding grimy ways to win, maybe they can sneak into a playoff spot, but they're really not going to make any noise. And
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think
the Niners are playing well. They're very injured, but they are playing well. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here that they take care of business at home as well against the Panthers on primetime. Is it their first primetime game since Cam Newton? Like it very well might be. They probably played a Thursday night game in there. It's probably their first non-Thursday night primetime.
Believe it or not, the Niners have allowed more points this year than the Panthers. So, I mean, let's be realistic. It's because you're missing a Hall of Fame inside linebacker, future Hall of Fame inside linebacker. I know he's a dirty player. I know you don't like Fred Warner, and I know for a fact you don't like Nick Bosa. But man, it's like kind of hard to play deep. And like
No,
Mike
listen,
Williams,
they're missing their best players, but they're
like
still.
Bryce Huff might be their best front seven player right now. Michael, think about that.
No, it's
Bryce Huff.
Listen, they gave up 47 completions, and they didn't give up many points. So, shout out. So you going with the Niners too?
I'm gonna go with the Panthers because
Wow.
they're just annoying.
Yeah.
And fortune's certainly favoring them. Like Michael, dead at. Even though this is like the Christian McCaffrey revenge game for wasting years of his career.
I guess. What is this, 5 years later? Like, who cares? I hear you. It's this could be tight. I could see it. Like, the Niners would have to be playing poorly. Purdy would have to throw a couple bad picks, and
What I mean, deep down though, don't you kind of want to see Purdy struggle, especially with
what I
Mahomes
want to
looming,
see versus
the
what
chaos?
I
'Cause you
think I'm
hate
gonna
Brock Purdy.
see. Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna see it. Which takes us to the Eagle game, the last game to pick, and I don't know, man. The Eagles are 3-point favorites in Dallas, which, like, probably feels about right. Like, as well as the defense has been playing, this will be they had a huge test, but, I mean, what is in great support of their defense was the fact that Jared Goff had to play outside in cold weather, and we just know he never does that or is just not capable of succeeding in that. The other side of that is now the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens at home, and we know how good the Cowboys offense is at home. It's always usually very good, especially when they're healthy, and they're definitely healthy at the moment. And it opens up, an opportunity where the Eagles can kind of finally get embarrassed. Like, it feels like they're begging to get embarrassed with the way the offense is playing, and all it takes truly is the defense to just not be perfect, and they're gonna lose almost any given Sunday the way they're playing at this point. Like, could we be sitting there watching a miserable game and the final score, the Eagles lose 24-13 because the offense is that terrible that even an awful Cowboys defense was able to hold it down? Potentially. I mean, I really hope it doesn't happen that way, but it definitely could happen. And, it feels like an Eagles win in this scenario, they're probably gonna need to score, like, 4 touchdowns. And can we say with confidence that they're going to score 4 touchdowns tomorrow? I'm not sure.
I would say the addition for Quinn Williams to the Cowboys certainly helps their run defense, especially
And then
a
listen, their
lot.
pass rush too. It's gotten better. Their pass rush has improved as well.
Now on the flip side though, I'm taking Dallas to cover, but because of how bad the Eagles have been. But it would be highly encouraging for them to like break out of this little slump. But also too, them losing this game could be like the wake up call they need to like what's going on offense isn't acceptable. Like if you're Kevin Patullo and you're strutting around NovaCare, like, oh, we're winning all these games, and you look at like Vic Fangio and the defense. Like, at what point does some of the guys on defense might go to be like, yo, what the F is going on? Like, if they lost like 13-10, we'll just say. And you're like,
if they lost any of the last 2 games that they've played, it would have been full bore for every player on defense to smack the shit out of somebody on offense because it's embarrassing. It really is. And you're right, man. If they lose a game where the defense is actually like really, really good, like especially against the team that has a bad defense like the Cowboys, it is going to be very, very ugly. Like if they can hold the Cowboys offense down to, like you said, 13 points or 10 points, 2 touchdowns max, whatever, and they can't muster up enough offense to win that game, what the hell are we doing here at this point? Like, we're talking about trying to repeat. That's unacceptable. And that's unacceptable when we're trying to get a 1 seed because of how much of a crapshoot this league has felt. That getting a bye week is probably enormous, and they have all the tiebreakers in the world you can imagine. You just gotta keep pace with all of them, and you'll win it. So, defensively, I'm not worried because I know how great the defense is, but it's definitely gonna be a true test. The Lions were a legitimate test, and Jahmyr Gibbs gave us a lot of problems. Just fortunately, Jared Goff was terrible. Um, but are we going to be dealing with, Javonte Williams isn't going to hit the home runs that Gibbs was kind of hitting.
No, Gibbs is a special player. I mean, here's the
But
thing.
Through the air, Dallas can definitely hit some home runs.
Like, here's the thing. This is the big thing, I think, for the Eagles stopping the Cowboys offense is going to be, big thing in this game, though, too. Jalen Carter did not play in the first game.
No, but Adoree Jackson has been very good. Was very good against Detroit.
Well,
But I
now
mean,
you
his
think,
worst game of the year was against Dallas.
George Pickens was one of the best number 2 receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
J-Mo's not one of the best number 2 receivers in the NFL. Sorry, he just isn't.
Yeah.
It would honestly, it would be DEFCON 5. Like, I don't know, could this be like the Niner game in 2023 where that's
is this the Niner game? Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. That would be miserable. I don't know. The defense is too good. I don't think they're going to have a 2023 game this year. Defense is just way too good.
But to me, I don't know, you scored 41 points on that hapless Giants defense. I mean, let me just throw it out here. I know you don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. Is AJ the issue here? Is it because when I say he's issue, I mean, there's this it's pretty obvious that Kevin Patullo just hates AJ Brown. The fact that AJ Brown does, he says, talk to KP, KP.
I mean, they all say talk to KP. Jalen says talk to KP. They all. I mean, that's just what it is. I don't think it's personal. They dislike AJ Brown. I just think the coaches aren't very smart on offense, in the game planning of it all. And with AJ Brown and his media and whatever, literally anything he does, it would not be happening if the offense was remotely competent.
So, I don't understand. How come when you play the Giants, you have Devontae Smith run the entire route tree? He completely cooks their hapless secondary. And then
the thing is that they tried to do it the following weeks, but it was obvious. First of all, you cooked a bad defense. The Giants secondary is pretty putrid.
The Lions secondary was pretty putrid as well last week. They're banged up.
But they were very sticky in coverage. I know we like to give the receivers the benefit of the doubt, but
because Eagles only run 3 routes. He ran go routes, stick routes, and
Oh, listen, I get it, and they should be able to get some separation, and they weren't able to. No one was good on Sunday on offense. The receivers really weren't great. They weren't getting open.
No,
quarterback was a little off. Coaching was terrible. Offensive line was poor.
Bad.
Yeah, it just.
See, this is where this is a good. I think this is it's a real test because. They didn't bring up. I'm glad the Eagles didn't blame the wind. They're like, oh, well, the wind was just bad. Look what happened to the Lions. They're playing indoors. And the only thing that could possibly be an issue is the Cowboys with their stupid windows. You saw it last year when we were up there in Dallas when they won 28-3, where the sun was in Jalen Hurts' face.
Oh, they beat the Cowboys? That was worse. That was 31-6 or something. That was dominant. 38-6 maybe, but
yeah. So look,
Jalen had 2 bad turnovers in that game. If we remember, he still played well, but he did have 2 bad turnovers. I'll take the Eagles pretty reluctantly because I've just kind of been doing that all season.
I had this as a loss when we picked the schedule.
We both had this as a loss. I just wish I could trust the offense to be able to do more than whatever the Cowboys offense could have a good day. Eagles
It would.
defense should struggle,
I'll
and
put
it
it to you,
shouldn't
I'm going to
matter
put it to you this
really.
way for the Cowboys. They would have unlocked a new humiliation ritual if this is like the A.J. Brown goes off for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it's like happy days are here again for at least like 5 days.
That'd be awesome, man. But I don't know. This Eagles offense against this Cowboys defense, in theory, there shouldn't be anything the Cowboys offense can do
I mean, the
to lead
Cowboys
them to a
offense
win.
got cooked by Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, and I'm just worried they're not going to be able to do that. I really am. And I'd love to look like such an idiot and the Eagles offense to look great tomorrow and be so wrong. But unfortunately, I can't say that with full confidence. Like the Eagles offense, the way they're operating is they're just hoping that eventually the run game is going to open up. Like they're not really doing anything a ton different as much as they're like, well, eventually the blocks are all going to align and Saquon's going to start hitting his big runs and everything will be fine and we're going to be winning comfortably again. Do you think that's going to happen? I don't. They're not getting healthier. They're actually getting more injured as the weeks go on. So I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
Juergens is playing on half a leg. Lane's out for at least a month, maybe the season. Is all of a sudden the run game going to open up? Is Quinnen Williams going to have Cam Juergens in hell?
it does feel like Brett Toth might be a better option at center right now.
At this point, Juergens just isn't healthy
because of his
and he
health.
hasn't been playing well anyways. It's just frustrating. I guess we will see. I hope to be very wrong. Like my pick aside, I hope to be wrong with my concerns. I hope the offense surprises me. I hope they are able to run the ball, throw the ball, just put up points against it's still a bad defense. Put up points against a bad defense. Defense is normal. They can even hopefully they could even afford to have a down game and the Eagles could still take care of business.
I mean, it feels like it's been a while. I mean, Dak was pretty efficient in the first game. Now, granted,
did a lot of drops.
Adoree Jackson, I turned to you. I said, get him out of here. He blows. He's been playing much better. No Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is like the MVP of the defense.
I will say,
truly
thinking about who like nightmare matchups are for Adoree Jackson, it's CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I mean, we saw Jameson Williams give him a little bit of problems, but like Amon-Ra St. Brown, in theory, is like a great matchup for a guy like Adoree Jackson. Like Amon-Ra's a great route runner, but doesn't have like blinding speed and he's not big or super physical. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are both really good route runners. They're both very fast and they're both bigger bodies. Pickens is obviously a lot more of a physical receiver. That's a hellish matchup. Like it's one of those games that they might have Quinyon just following Pickens around the entire game. Like I think that is probably going to be what the Eagles do tomorrow because getting Adoree Jackson on Pickens is going to be, Dak's going to be throwing that every single time. And I think he'd be right too. As good as Adoree's played, it's just a totally different body type that he can't really keep up with.
Yeah, and listen, Dak's been in the NFL since 2016. The Eagles have never swept Dak in the regular season. Never happened. I'm just saying. That's why I'm picking the Cowboys.
Yeah, listen, this is a very losable game tomorrow, and it would be very, very frustrating. Very frustrating because the Cowboys still aren't that great. But if the Cowboys do win tomorrow, the door is certainly open for them to sneak into the playoffs as one of those wild card teams. They play Kansas City on Christmas, and they have like 3 tough games here, the Cowboys. And then after that, I think it eases up a little bit. They're home against the Eagles. They're home against the Chiefs not on Christmas, on Thanksgiving. And then they play at Detroit the following week. Those are 3 tough games. Then they play at home against JJ McCarthy.
I don't think the Cowboys have a path to the playoffs if you look at the NFC right now, barring one of the NFC North teams to collapse. So,
I mean, if they go 2-1 in these next 3 games, and then they have home against JJ McCarthy, home against the Chargers, at Commanders on Christmas, at Giants, they'd have to win
Well, no,
a
they're
lot of
just
those
going to
games
erode
or
their
all of
draft
them. But
position. So, like, Michael, look, you got in the NFC West, Rams 8 wins, Seahawks 7 wins, Niners 7 wins. In the South, you have the Bucks with 6 wins, the Panthers with 6 wins. Who, by the way, the Panthers own a tiebreaker over the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, does the tie nullify a lot of those tiebreakers for Dallas?
Well,
If they
then,
go,
and
if
now
they
we
go
have
9-7-1,
keep
yeah.
in mind too, NFC North, Bears 7-3, Packers 6-3-1, Lions 6-4. Then you have the Eagles 8-2. Like, Michael, I'm just saying, like, dude, the Cowboys kind of, if the Eagles win tomorrow, the Cowboys are not making the playoffs.
No, I know. I told you. I said if they beat the Eagles tomorrow, that door is open. They'll be 5-5-1, and after the next 2 games, a pretty favorable schedule to finish out.
Cowboys to make the playoffs.
I think the odds are like 7%. If I'm
Yeah,
correct.
7% according to NFL.com. I would
Yeah.
imagine those would go drastically down if they lose tomorrow.
Yeah, I would go to say that. But if they win, well, you know what? Hold on. I hope I can find it. You know that chart where it's like if a team wins, their percentages go up. If their team loses, the percentages go down. Damn it, I wish I could find it quicker than what this would end up taking me. I'm going to do a quick look-see, and if I don't see it in a couple of seconds, I'm just going to give up on it. Nothing. Well, I'm sure I'll see it maybe tomorrow morning, and I'll save it and send it to you just so I have the account. But we will be seeing on how the games go tomorrow. The Eagles, like, it's not like desperate must win because they'll miss the playoffs, but like they're in situations where every game at this point is must win in order to get the 1 seed. And I feel like this year more than any other season, it is imperative for them to get the 1 seed to just minimize the amount of opportunities to lose at this point. Both conferences, I think it's very, very important to get that bye, and the Eagles are going to be pushing for it. So they have the tiebreakers. They just got to keep winning games. So hopefully we're talking before Thanksgiving with happier moods on the football team and the offense, but we will be seeing in approximately like 29 hours or so. Anyways, that is our show, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you later in the week.
Catch you on the flip side.
We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-LotPod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.